Hello everybody. Today let us discuss B trees. What are B trees? B trees are basically multi-level indexes. What do we mean by multi-level index and why do we need it? So in most of the real-time applications, what happens is the database consists of data records. Any database for that matter consists of data records which may consist of many fields. And these data records we generally be stored in the hard disk. So there may be some data record 1 over here and some data record 2 over here, 3 may be present somewhere here, 4 data record. So these numbers, let us assume, are the keys that identify the data records which have other fields like this is the unique ID given to a person, his name, his date of birth, his age, his address. So many details related to an individual are stored in one record. So these records are scattered in the database in the hard disk. We need to access these records for performing various operations, let us assume. So now when we want to access these data records, since they are in the hard disk, accessing them from the hard disk will be very slow. We know that hard disk has a very low performance compared to when the data is stored in the main memory. All the data that is present in the hard disk may not be able to be stored in the main memory because of the limitation in the size of the main memory. So therefore what we do is we construct an index file. So this index file basically consists of a key and reference. It is basically a key reference pair. It just tells record with key number 1 and its address. So where it is present, it will have a pointer to that particular data record in the secondary memory. So record number 2. So where is record number 2 present? So it will have a pointer pointing to where record number 2 is present in the hard disk. Record number 3, record number 4. So in this particular fashion. So now things will become easier if we can store this. This is called as the index table, which has the key and the reference. Key is the key with which we identify the data record, and reference is nothing but the address where this particular data record is present in the hard disk. So now, since we can't store the whole data records in the main memory, they require more memory, we can construct an index table which consists of only keys and their references. And since this index table will be comparably very small compared to the actual data records, because the data records may consist of many fields, here we are taking only one field, this index table can be stored in the main memory. Sometimes it may so happen that the data records will be so huge, millions and millions, that the index table will also become too large. The index table may have millions and millions of key reference pairs, and it may become very difficult for us to store the index table in the main memory, or alternately it may not be necessary also to store such huge data index table in the main memory. So in that case, what we do is we construct multi-level index tables, that is an index to an index table. So here we have a list of tables. Okay, these tables will have some key reference pairs, and reference to these index tables will be constructed using one more level of index tables. Okay, this will guide us to take to any one of these lower level index tables. Okay, and that will have one more index table that will guide us to take to one of these two index tables, and finally these data record the leaf level index blocks will take us to the hard disk and tell us where the actual data record is present. So this is how the actual scenario will be. How many levels can this index blocks go? That depends upon the how we are going to construct the multi-level indices. So that is what we will see how it is done in a B tree. So as I told, multi-level is nothing but a multi-level index. If we can look at a B tree very closely, it looks like just an extension of a binary search tree. B tree is also a search tree. In a binary search tree, what happens is at every level there will be an element in the root, and depending upon the value of that element, we will know whether to proceed towards the left side of the tree or the right side of the tree. Same way, in a B tree, a B tree node will consist of key reference pairs, as I told, and the keys will be stored in the sorted order. So In a binary search tree, a node consists of only one key and it will have two search paths. Okay, it will have one key k and it will have two search paths. The left side subtree will have all those elements which are less than the key element, and right side will have those elements which are greater than the key element. Okay, any one of the side we can include equal to also. Okay, so this is how a binary search tree look like. Whereas a B tree node will consist of more than one keys. Okay, it may consist of say m number of keys, let us assume. So it will have k key1, k key2, k key3 up to k key m. This m may be 5, it may be 10, it may be 100, it may be 1000. Okay, and all these keys will be arranged in the sorted order. That is, k key1 will be less than k2, k2 will be less than k3, k3 will be less than k4, km minus 1 will be less than km. So therefore there will be k1, there will be k2 and there will be km number of keys in a node. And these references at the upper levels will be reference to their descendants, lower level index blocks. So these blocks, what will they have? There will be a reference to the left of k1 also. So a node of a B tree which consists of m keys will have a maximum of m descendants, maximum of m descendants, and a minimum of m by 2 descendants. So a B tree node which consists of m keys will have a maximum of m number of descendants and a minimum of half the number of descendants, that is m by 2 number of descendants. If a B tree node has 100 keys, then at most it will have 100 descendants and minimum it should have 50 descendants. A B tree node with less than 50 number of descendants cannot exist. What to do when the number of keys happen to be less than 50 and greater than 100, we will see in a while. Okay, before that let us understand some more things. So there will be m number of descendants to this. So there will be a subtree to the left of key k1 and it will have all those keys that are less than or equal to k1. And there will be a descendant in between k1 and k2. This will have all those keys that are greater than k1 and less than or equal to k2. So a descendant between k2 and k3 will have keys greater than k2 and less than or equal to k3. So the last descendant will have keys greater than k minus 1 and less than km minus 1 and less than or equal to km. So this is how a B tree will look like. A B tree with m keys consists of a maximum of m descendants and a minimum of m by 2 number of descendants, and these keys in the node will be arranged in the increasing order, that is k1 will be less than k2, k2 will be less than k3, km minus 1 will be less than km. It will have maximum of m descendants starting from the left of key k1 in between every keys, okay, and the last one will be in between km minus 1 and km. And what will these references be? They will be references to the lower level index blocks, wherein the leftmost index block will consist of keys less than or equal to k1. In between k1 and k2 will be keys greater than k1 and less than or equal to k2, so on and so forth. The last descendant will have keys greater than or equal to km minus 1 and less than or equal to km. Okay, so this is not the only way how we can construct a B tree. There will be slight variations in constructing B tree which are discussed by different authors. Anyways, the B tree that we are going to construct will have this particular pattern, and if you can see, there is always a possibility for us to have a descendant to the right of km also. Even we can construct a B tree in that particular fashion. The ultimate purpose of constructing a B tree is to assist us to take quickly to the data record. Okay, so that is the purpose. So therefore we can have a descendant to the right of the last key km also, but here to keep things simple we are eliminating this so that the number of keys and the maximum number of descendants will be same for us. Therefore when we take m by 2, it will be easier for us to construct a B tree. That is the only reason. So therefore we will stick on to this definition. So what are the other properties of a B tree? Okay, so B tree is a multi-level index and this minimum number of descendants that a B tree has, minimum number of descendants m by 2. This is called as the order of the B tree. This we call as the order of the B tree. The minimum number of descendants present in a B tree is called as the order of the B tree. Okay, so this is the reason why we consider only m number of descendants, maximum m number of descendants is this, because for a node which has say 2 keys in our B tree has only 2 descendants, but it can also have 3 descendants. So there will be a confusion as to whether a node with m keys should have a maximum of m descendants or m plus 1 descendants. So therefore we will consider that it will consist of m descendants, and the minimum number of descendants m by 2 is the order of the B tree. So what is the definition of a B tree? A B tree is a multi-level index. Okay, a B tree of order m will have a maximum of m descendants, minimum of m by 2 descendants, except the root and leaves. Okay, root has 2 descendants. Okay, leaves anyways will not have any descendants. All the keys will form a ordered collection at the leaf level. Okay, in our B tree, what happens is all the keys that are present in the B tree will be present in the leaf level, and they will be, as I told, there will be multiple blocks. Each one of the blocks will have keys in the sorted order. Therefore, they will form an ordered collection. So now therefore when we construct a B tree, the B tree will provide a indexed access. Means you start from the root and you can traverse the tree and you can access any one of the data record that is present in the hard disk. Okay, so these are some of the key properties of a B tree. The B tree that we are going to consider: maximum of m descendants, minimum of m by 2 number of descendants, root has 2 number of descendants, and all the keys will form an ordered collection at the leaf level. And another property, all the leaves of the B tree are at the same level. Okay, so a B tree is a completely height balanced tree, wherein all the leaves will be at the same level. Unlike a AVL tree, in a AVL tree, the left subtree and the right subtree can be out of order at most one level. Means the left and the right subtree either can be at the same level, or the left subtree can be one level below the right subtree, or the right subtree can be one level above the left subtree. So that is not the case in a B tree. In a B tree, all the nodes are at the same level. How do we construct a B tree? So we construct a B tree in a bottom-up fashion. First we insert the key at the leaf level and the tree grows upwards. So let us see how a B tree can be constructed by taking an example of integer numbers. Okay, let us assume that we have numbers like okay, let us take these numbers and let us see how a B tree can be constructed, and let us consider the order of the B tree that we are constructing to be 4. That is, a node in a B tree that we are constructing will consist of 4 keys, and it will have a maximum of 4 number of descendants and a minimum of 2 descendants. If we take a higher order, then we may need more number of keys. Therefore, we will restrict our order of the B tree to be 4, so that we can easily understand how to construct a B tree. So we already know that a B tree node will consist of at most 4 number of keys, and they will be in the sorted order. Let us take the first 4 keys directly, and let us construct a B tree consisting of 4 keys without taking one key at a time. Okay, so 15, 12, 8 and 9. So 8 will be the first key, 9 will be the second key in the sorted order, 12 will be the third key, and 15 will be the fourth key. Okay, so there are 4 keys, and after we construct the B tree, we should have at most 4 descendants, wherein this should have keys less than or equal to 8, this should have keys greater than 8 and less than or equal to 9, this should have greater than 9, less than or equal to 12, greater than 12 and less than or equal to 15. So this is how our B tree will look like later when we construct. Okay, so now the maximum number of keys that can be present in the node of a B tree is equal to m, that is 4. So now the node consists of 4 keys. What should we do when a new key arrives to a node which is completely full? That particular condition is called as a overflow condition. So trying to insert a node, key to a node which is already full is called as overflow. So to handle overflow in a B tree, we perform an operation called as splitting. How do we split a node? So now we need to insert 4 to this particular node. This is already full, therefore what we do is we will split it into 2 nodes. We will split it into 2 nodes, each consisting of 2 keys. The first 2 keys in this, 8 and 9, the next 2 keys in this, 12 and 15. Okay, earlier there was only 1 node, now there are 2 nodes, and therefore we need a root node to make it a tree. So therefore what we do is, after this splits, we construct a new root to this. We construct a new root to this, and to this root we are going to promote the largest keys present in both the nodes. Okay, the largest key present over here is 9, so that will come here, and 15 is the largest key present over here, that will come here, and anyways these two has to be in the sorted order, so 9 comes first and 15 comes next. This process of bringing the largest key to the higher level is called as promoting. Okay, and then we will make the descendants point. Okay, the pointer left to 9 will point to the node which consists of keys 8 and 9, and the middle pointer between 9 and 15 will point to the next node that was split, which consists of 12 and 15. Okay, so now we will insert 4. So now when we insert 4, when we are inserting nodes into a into a B tree, we need to look into some cases. What are those cases? Suppose the node that we are inserting, key that we are inserting to a node of a B tree happens to be, is not the largest key in that particular node. Okay, then we are just simply going to insert it in the sorted order and leave it. Okay, see 4. So how do we insert 4? Searching is just like how we search in a binary search tree. We start from the root. So 4 we come here. Okay, 4 is less than 9. So if it is not, then we go to the next key. In that particular fashion we need to proceed. 4 is less than 9. So 4 has to be present somewhere in the left subtree of 9. We come here, and when we see here, we have 2 keys 8 and 9. 4 is the third key, and since 4 is less than both 8 and 9, it has to be inserted to the left of 8. So it gets inserted here, and nothing else needs to be done, and we leave it here. Now suppose the key that we want to insert, okay, once again, next we will take key number 1. Let me take this as 17 and this as 7. Okay, so next I want to insert 1. When I want to insert 1, once again 1 is less than 9, it will come here. So 1 happens to be the first key in this particular node. Okay, the second case. Now let us take 17. When we want to insert 17, we will find that 17 is greater than 9. We will come here, it is greater than 15 also. Okay, so therefore, greater than 9, so it has to be present in this particular node. So we will come here and we will insert 17 over here. When the key that we insert to a node happens to be the largest key in that particular node, then information about that has to be updated in the parent nodes also. That may be in one level or it may be multiple levels. We will see that the tree keeps on growing from the bottom, and it may split, even this root may split and a new root may be formed, and in this particular fashion the tree grows bottom up. Okay, so now when 17 is the largest key in this particular node. Information in the root tells that 15 is the largest key. Therefore, we are going to promote this 17 and 17 happens to come to the root. So now you can see this node consists of keys less than or equal to 9 and this node consists of keys greater than 9 and less than or equal to 17. Okay. So in this particular fashion we need to construct the B tree. So next 11. 11 is greater than 9, less than 17. So therefore we come here and we find that it is not the largest key. You just insert and leave it. Next 3. So when we take 3, 3 is less than 9. So we'll come here and 3 has to be inserted in between 1 and 4. We see that this node is already full. Since this node is already full, inserting 3 will cause an overflow. Since it causes an overflow, we will split this node. Okay, this will form two nodes consisting of keys 4 and 9. Sorry, 1 and 4. Okay, now we are inserting 3. So now before that, let us update the information about the largest keys in the parent. Information about 9 is here, 17 is here, 4 is not there. We will insert one more key over here, 4, in the sorted order, and there will be a pointer from left of 4 and this will be in between 8 and 9. If you can check, the B tree properties hold. This should contain keys less than or equal to 4, it is there. Here greater than 4 and less than or equal to 9. Here greater than 9 and less than or equal to 17. Okay, so the properties hold. Now 3 needs to be inserted. Where will 3 come? In between 1 and 4. So therefore, in between 1 and 4, we insert 3. Next, we want to insert 6. 6 is greater than 4, it is less than 9, therefore it has to come here, and we see that 6 happens to be the first key in this particular node. Okay. Next we need to insert 2. So 2 happens to be less than 4, it has to come here, it is greater than 1, so it will be inserted in between 1 and 3, and since it is not the largest key, nothing needs to be done, we will just leave it. Next key that we insert is 5. So when we see 5 is greater than 4 and it is less than 9. So therefore it has to come here. It is not the largest key. Okay. So therefore it will be inserted here. 5, 6, 8 and 9. Nothing else needs to be done. We will leave it. The last key is 7. Okay. So now when we insert 7, 7 is greater than 4, less than 9. When we see this particular node is already full, inserting it will cause overflow. Therefore, we will handle it by splitting. When we split, we will get two nodes, one which consists of 8 and 9, other one which consists of 5 and 6. Okay. Information about 9 is there in the root, information about 6 is not there. So, we will update the root with the largest key in this particular node, that is 6. Okay. And there will be a pointer in between 4 and 6 which will point to this node which consists of 5 and 6. See, in between 6 and 9 the pointer will point to 8 and 9. Once again you can check, this consists of keys less than or equal to 4, this consists of keys greater than 4 and less than or equal to 6, this consists of keys greater than 6 and less than or equal to 9, it consists of keys greater than 9 and less than or equal to 17. So therefore where does 7 come? 7 actually is greater than 6 and less than 9, so it has to come here, so it will come in between 8 and 9. So this is how we have constructed the B tree. Okay. Now let us see when will the root split. Okay. So let us assume I am going to insert an element 25 into this particular B tree. So 25 happens to be greater than 17 also. Since we don't have a descendant to the right of 17, we will insert it here, and that information we are going to update just like we updated 17. So when we have to insert 25, it is greater than 17, therefore it has to be inserted in this particular node. We come here and we see that this node is already full. Inserting a key to this particular node will cause a overflow. Therefore we will handle it by splitting. Okay, we split it into two nodes. When we split it into two nodes, 11 and 12, 15 and 17. Okay, so now you can see information about the 17 is there in the root, information about this 12 is not there. So this key 12 needs to be promoted to the root, and when we promote 12 to the root, we can see that the root also overflows. Root also has maximum number of keys it can hold, so therefore it can't accommodate 12. Therefore we need to split the root also now. So therefore what we do is, we will split the root into 2, okay, and pointers, okay. Assigning the pointers is very, very important. This will be to the left of 4, in between, okay. So this will be here, this will be here, okay. Anyways, we have to insert one more key, okay. So 12 we have not yet promoted, okay. So 12 we have not yet promoted. So first we will finish off with this 6, 17, okay. Now this 12 we promote. When we promote 12, so we find that 12 is greater than 9 and less than 17. So therefore 12 will come and sit in this particular node, okay. So in between 9 and 12 there will be a descendant. So this will be one descendant, this will be the other descendant, this will be the third descendant, and left of 6. So this is where, and now we have to insert 25. Before that we can check whether the B-tree's properties are holding. Less than or equal to 4, greater than 4, less than or equal to 6, less than or equal to 9, greater than 9, less than or equal to 12, greater than 12, less than or equal to 17. And if you come to the root, less than or equal to 6, okay, greater than 6 and less than or equal to 17. So now the B-tree is perfect. We need to insert 25. Just because to insert 25 we did a split operation over here, okay. So we are going to insert the 25 over here, and information about this has to be updated in the higher levels. So now you can see information about 25 has to be updated in 2 levels. As the tree grows, it may be required for us sometimes to update some keys at multiple levels above the tree. So here we are going to update its information at the parent as well as the grandparent. So this is the B tree for us now, okay. So once again you can verify greater than 6, less than or equal to 25. So greater than 12, less than or equal to 25. So all the properties hold, and if you can see all the keys are present in the leaf level. They form an ordered pair in the ascending order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 15, 17, 25 in this particular fashion. So what will these references have? Because in the leaf node these references don't have to point to any of the child index blocks. So basically these references will point to the actual data record that is present in the hard disk, okay. So there will be once again 4 references, okay, for 1, for 2, for 3 and one more for 4 we can have, because it can have maximum of 4 descendants, okay. Here one more there will be. So there will be 4 references to the data records. So all these things will point to the data records which are present in the hard disk. So this is how a B tree will look like, okay. So B tree is a multi-level index in which order is the minimum number of descendants that a node can have. Each node in a B tree will have keys in the sorted order, k1 less than or equal to k, less than k2, less than k3 up to km, and all the nodes should have a maximum of m descendants except the root, because the root can't have m by 2 number of descendants minimum, because a B tree of order 100 cannot have 50 descendants directly, because when a node splits it can split only into 2 and this can have one root. So therefore there is an exception for the root, that the root can have a minimum of 2 descendants except the root and the leaves, which will not have descendants. All other nodes should have a minimum of m by 2 number of descendants and a maximum of m number of descendants. If it goes beyond m, then we can handle it by an operation called as splitting, okay. So searching, just like as I told binary search logic, okay, if I want to search for say 22, I will come here and conclude 22 is greater than 6 and less than 25, I come here, okay, it is greater than 12 and less than 25, I come here, greater than 17, less than 25, there is no more key below it, therefore I will conclude 22 is not present in the tree, okay. If I am searching for 8, then say 8 is greater than 6, less than 25, I come here. When I come here, I know that 8 is less than 9, therefore I come to the left subtree, and here in the sorted order from 7, 8, I compare 8, I will find here. Then I go to the hard disk to find the actual data record, okay. So if I assume that every node, all these nodes are stored in the hard disk, then in this particular B tree, at most I will have to perform 3 seeks. One for this block, then to find this block, then to find one of the blocks in the third level, and after 3 seeks, I will be having the address of the data record in the hard disk. So to access the data record in the hard disk, I will be performing one more seek, that is the 4th seek, Okay, this is a small B tree that we have constructed. In real time, B trees nodes will consist of more number of keys. Okay, anyways, we will perform an analysis in a while, and before performing the analysis, let us discuss the deletion operation in a B tree. How to perform a deletion operation in a B tree. Okay, so once again, similar rules that we have to apply to perform deletion operation like addition, like insertion. When we are deleting a element from a node that is not the largest in the node, okay, we just delete that node and leave it. Say suppose I want to delete 3. 3 is less than 6, I come here. 3 is less than 4, I come here. I delete 3. It is not the largest element, I just delete it and leave it. Okay. Now suppose if I want to delete an element that is the largest in the node, then what is to be done? Now suppose I want to delete 9. 9 is greater than 6 and less than or equal to 25, I come here. Okay, so 9 is less than or equal to 9, I come here. First I have to delete at the leaf, okay, because that is where all the keys are present. Okay, so 9 happens to be the largest key in this particular node. I delete. After deleting, the information about this will be present in the parents also, higher levels of the tree also, maybe one level or multiple levels. So therefore, I'll have to find out wherever 9 is present and promote the next largest key present in this particular node. The next largest key in this node is 8. So 9 has to be replaced by 8. In this case, it is only one level. Suppose if we are deleting 6 or 25, then you can see they will have to be updated at 2 levels. If I delete 25, then 17 has to be updated here as well as here. If I delete 6, then the information about the next largest key has to be updated here as well as here. So same way, for some keys the information will have to be updated in multiple levels, and for some nodes in maybe fewer than one level, fewer levels. Okay, so this is one case. Now the second thing, case one is if the key is not largest, delete it and leave it. If the key is largest, delete it and the next largest key has to be promoted to the higher levels. Okay, so next case. Now when we delete a node, when we delete a key, okay, and the number of keys in that particular node happens to be less than the minimum number of keys required for the survival of the node, that is the minimum number of descendants. Half the number of descendants must be present. In our case, B tree order is 4, therefore a node must have at least 2 keys. A node with 1 key cannot exist. Okay, now what to do if such a thing happens? Now suppose I am going to delete say 11, let us assume. Okay, so when I delete 11, this particular node has the minimum requirement for its existence, that is 2 keys. Deletion of 1 key will cause the node can't survive. Okay, when we delete a key from a node that has minimum number of keys, that condition is called as underflow. So how do we handle underflow? So to handle underflow, we perform an operation called as merging. Okay, to handle overflow we perform splitting, to handle underflow we perform merging. Okay, so how do we perform merge? So now what we do here, 11 is greater than 6, less than 25, we come here. 11 is greater than 8 and less than or equal to 12, we come here. So 11 is here, we need to delete it. When we delete, this node can't exist. We will find a suitable neighbor. We will find a suitable neighbor which can take all the keys that belong to this particular node. Okay, once again, should the neighboring node take all the keys? That is once again arguable. Okay, so anyways, in this case we will consider that the neighboring node will take all the keys. This will have to find a sibling which is adjacent to it. So it can give the keys to this particular node, or it can give the keys to this particular node and merge. So this node, if it merges with this, then 12 will come here as the largest key of this particular node, and information about that has to be updated. So now there are only 2 nodes, so this 8 will go off from the root node and there will be one descendant from the left, and this will be pointing to the node consisting of 7, 8 or 12. Okay, alternately, if you merge 12 with this node, then nothing needs to be done. Okay, everything remains as it is, because that doesn't become the largest node in that particular node. You just merge it and leave it. Okay, so this is how a merge operation can be done in a B tree. Okay. Okay. We will consider another case. We considered three cases. One is if the node is not the largest in that particular node, and if it has more than minimum number of keys, delete that particular node, and since it already has more than minimum number of keys, it can survive and we leave it. If it happens to be the largest key, you delete, and the number of keys after deletion happens to be equal to or more than the minimum number of keys, then you delete, and information about the next largest key has to be updated at the higher levels. If the node has bare minimum number of keys, deletion of it will cause an underflow. In that case, what we have to do is we have to find a neighbor, okay, adjacent to it, and merge with it. And after merging, suitable updation at the parents needs to be done. Sometimes it may also happen, so for that reason I reinserted 3 here, okay, it may so happen, it may not be possible for us to merge. Say for example, in this case we delete 5 or 6, any of these keys, let us assume. I want to delete 5, okay, I come here, 5 is less than 6, I come here, 5 is greater than 4 and less than 6, I come here, I delete, okay. So, when I delete 5, 6 can't survive. It has to merge with its neighbor sibling. Okay, so when it tries to find its sibling, it has only one sibling. It can't merge with 7, 8 because 7, 8's parent is different and 6's parent is different. It can't merge with a neighboring node which has a different parent. It has to merge with one of its sibling, and that too which is adjacent, neighboring. Okay, either to the left of it or to the right of it. So now when 6 tries to merge with this, you can see this particular node already has the maximum number of keys it can have for its survival. So 4 keys are already present. If it takes 6, then it will anyways overflow. So therefore in this particular case, we handle it by one more operation, what is called as redistribution. So what is redistribution? In redistribution, what we do is instead of giving the keys to the neighbor, we borrow some keys from the neighbor. Okay, so how many keys can this node borrow? Okay, so this node can borrow from a minimum of the minimum number of keys required for its survival to a maximum number of keys that the neighbor can give. Okay, so what does it mean? So this for its survival needs minimum of 1 keys. So it can borrow 1 key. Okay, it can borrow just 1 key, 4, and it will also survive, and this node will also survive. Okay, alternately it can borrow maximum number of keys that the neighbor can give. What is the maximum number of keys that the neighbor can give? The neighbor for its survival needs 2 keys. So keeping 2 keys, if it wants to give, it can give all the other 2 keys. So in that case it can give 3 and 4. Okay, so once again it depends upon the application, the implementation, how we want to do. So simplest thing would be to borrow minimum number of keys that are required for survival, or alternately we may find out what is the maximum number of keys that the neighbor can give, divide it, and half the number of keys can be left in that node and half the number of keys can be borrowed, so that the similar problem will not arise in a sooner future. Okay, say for example if the node's order is 100, okay, and when a key is deleted and it underflows, it will have 49 keys. Okay, for its survival it needs only 1 key. Suppose the neighbor has 100 keys, it can give up to 50 keys. So out of those 50 keys, you can divide 25. 25 keys can be borrowed to this node and 25 keys can be left there, thereby reducing the chances of this underflow in near future. Okay, so these are the options that we have. So this is redistribution. So one more thing what we can see is, it looks like redistribution can be used only with deletion, but redistribution can also be used with insertion operation also. Okay, how can we use redistribution with insertion operation? Now suppose I am going to insert 11 now, let us assume in this particular tree I am going to insert 11. So 11 is greater than or equal to 6 less than 25, I come here. 11 is greater than 8 and less than or equal to 25, I come here. Okay, so here when I see 11 can be inserted in this particular node, but this node is already full. So till now I know that this can be handled only by splitting. Okay, instead of performing a split operation, what I will do is I will perform a redistribution, so that I can accommodate that the key in the two descendants that are present, instead of making the two descendants as 3, in case of splitting, if I do, this will split into two nodes, and this will be this is a descendant which is already there, so therefore there will be 3 number of descendants. Instead of that, I can redistribute the keys. Once again, how many keys we have already discussed. So say for example, I can give 12 to my neighbor. This 12 will be taken by my neighbor. This information will be updated here. Okay, so now again I will see where I have apply the same logic. 6 is greater than 11 is greater than 6 and less than 25. 11 is less than 12. I come here and I see that 11 is in between 8 and 12, and I will insert 11 here. So in this particular fashion, redistribution is one operation that can be used both with insertion and deletion. Okay, so to summarize, in a B-tree node, when we insert a key, if the node overflows, if the number of keys happen to be more than the maximum number of keys that it can hold, that leads to a condition called as overflow. Overflow is handled using an operation called as splitting, wherein one node is divided into two nodes and both the nodes will have half the number of keys. When we delete a node, then if the node has minimum number of keys and after deletion it becomes less than the minimum number of keys, then the node can't survive. That condition is called as an underflow, and to handle underflow condition, we perform an operation called as merging, wherein we will find a sibling that is a neighbor to that particular node and merge with that node by giving all the keys to that particular neighbor. Okay. However, there is another operation called as redistribution, in which can be used both for insertion as well as deletion, in which case instead of splitting or merging, we will borrow keys from the neighbor. Okay, neighbor sibling. Okay, which neighbor? Once again, a neighbor, how many keys? Once again, from a minimum number of keys required for the survival of that particular node to a maximum number of keys that the neighbor can give. Okay, so that is about B-trees. Insertion, deletion and searching. We will quickly analyze the efficiency of the B-tree. Okay, analysis. So what is the efficiency of a B-tree? So to analyze the efficiency of the B-tree, let us analyze the efficiency of the B-tree in the worst case, because that is what is more important to us. Worst case efficiency. Okay, so when will the worst case occur in a B-tree? So if you can see, the worst case in a B-tree occurs when all the nodes in the B-tree will have only minimum number of descendants, not more than that. If the order of the B-tree is 100, then the root will have only 2 descendants, then each one of these 2 descendants will have only 50 descendants, and each one of these 50 descendants will have 50 descendants each, and they will have, so at every level, each node will have exactly the minimum number of descendants, not more than that. That is the minimum possible structure of a B-tree that can exist. Okay, because less than that the tree can't exist. More keys can be possible, but this is the worst possible tree that we can construct. Okay, for order m. So in that case, what happens? So all the nodes will have only half the number of keys. Okay, so let us consider the root level, that is level number 1, let us assume. Okay, so how many number of descendants? So root will have 2 descendants. Okay, root will have 2 number of descendants, that is we consider it as level number 1. Level number 2, each one of these 2 will have m by 2 number of descendants. Okay, seed. Okay, each one of these 2 can have m by 2. We know root has an exception that it can have only 2 descendants. Now the next level 3 will have 2 into m by 2. Each one of these 2 into m by 2 will have m by 2 number of descendants. In the worst case, each one of them will have m by 2 number of descendants. So that is equal to 2 into m by 2 whole squared. Okay. At the 4th level, this 2 into m by 2 whole squared number of descendants, each one of them will have m by 2 descendants each. So that is equal to 2 into m by 2 cube whole to the power of 3 number of descendants. Okay, if we can observe the pattern here, what is happening is at level 2 it has m by 2 to the power of 1 number of descendants, these 2 remain same. At level 3, 2 into m by 2 to the power of 2, 1 less than this 3, here 1 less than 2, 1, here 1 less than 3, 2, here if you can see 4, 1 less 3. So if we go to a depth d in this particular fashion, it will have 2 into m by 2 to the power of d minus 1 number of descendants. Okay, 2 into m by 2 to the power of d minus 1 number of descendants. Okay, so and in our B tree, all the keys are present in the leaf level. So in the leaf level, the number of keys, if we assume that the number of keys is uppercase n, this n will be greater than or equal to the number of descendants that are present, because the number, each one of the descendant will have more number of keys. So obviously the relationship will be all the keys which are at the level n will be greater than or equal to the maximum number of descendants that are present at that particular level. So therefore n will be greater than or equal to 2 into m by 2 to the power of d minus 1. Okay, now let us solve this particular expression. N will come as the denominator, n by 2 is greater than or equal to m by 2 to the power of d minus 1. So now when we take logarithmics, apply logarithmics, we will get log n by 2 to the base m by 2 will be greater than or equal to d minus 1. Okay, I'll bring the d this side. So therefore it will be d is less than or equal to log n by 2 to the base m by 2. This minus 1 I'll take other side plus 1. So the depth of the B tree for a B tree of order m will be log the maximum number of keys that are there in the tree divided by 2 base m by 2. Okay, so plus 1. If you can see, the efficiency of a B tree is still logarithmic. It is still logarithmic. But the thing is, we should see where actually B trees are used. B trees are used in a situation wherein the data records are stored in the hard disk. So when we are trying to fetch something from the hard disk, we need to minimize the number of seeks. So depending upon what is the value of this D, how deep the B tree can grow, we will see that even for millions of keys, when we apply this, the depth of the B tree will be at most 3. So therefore, just 3 seeks will be needed for us to start with the B tree and find where it is present in the hard disk. Then the fourth seek will give the actual data record. This is far more better compared to any of the other file structures that we know. So therefore, with as minimum of 3 keys, you can substitute the values for number of keys as 1 million or 10 million. Okay, and the order of the B tree as say 512 or something like that, and check for yourself. You will find out even for this many keys with this sort, 512, packing 512 keys in a node is not a very big number with respect to B trees. Okay, so therefore we can find that it will be just some 3 or 4 levels, and therefore number of seeks will be reduced only to so much. So therefore this efficiency is still good as a file structure for B tree. Okay, so anyways, the order of growth is logarithmic, but when it comes to seeking, each and everything becomes important, because it will decide how many number of seeks will be performed. Okay, so this is the worst case, and you can see in the worst case, if the B tree's order is 100, each one of the node has only 50 keys. So there is provision for adding 50 more keys into each one of the nodes before they split. So therefore, until then, the tree structure will remain the same and the number of seeks will not increase more than this. So only after all those keys nodes get maximum number of keys, only then the tree's level increases. So therefore, till then the number of seeks will not increase by more than 3. So in the best case, what may happen? So all the nodes may have m number of keys, maximum number of keys that is possible, and each one of the node has a potential to split in the next insertion. Anyways, when we search, what will be the efficiency? So if we see that, we can find that each one of the node will have m number of keys instead of m by 2 number of keys. Okay, so therefore this expression will be, everything will be same, only thing is we will get it as m to the power of d minus 1. Okay, so that is n by 2 m to the power of d minus 1. So when we apply logarithmic log on both sides, we will get log m to base log n by 2 to base m is greater than or equal to d minus 1 or depth is less than or equal to log n by 2 to base m plus 1. Okay, so now we can see this base factor is playing a very important role. Okay, log m by 2 and log m, even though the order of growth is logarithmic, has a huge difference. Okay, there is a huge difference. If we take the order as 100, then log 100 base 2, sorry, yeah, and m by 2 is log, sorry, if we take the m as 100 and number of keys be whatever it is, log n to base 100 and log n to base 50. When we take m by 2, it is log 50. When we take m, in the best case, it will be base 100. They will have a very huge difference. Okay, it will be a very big number. We can take some values and we can compare for ourselves. In the best case, it will be log n to base 100, and here it will be log n to base 50. Okay, so therefore the efficiency of the B tree will be far better compared to any of the other file structures that we know. Okay, so therefore, to conclude, B trees is a very good multi-level index which stores all the keys at the leaf level and provides a reasonably good indexed access to all the data records that are present in the hard disk. Thank you.